If you're listening on podcast, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel for more content. The link is in the description.
Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast. Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. This is, man, I'm tired. It's been a long weekend. For us, for those of you guys listening, I know it's going to show up a little bit off schedule, but this is how we record the episodes. Yesterday was the Ohio Bigfoot Conference for us, and man, is it wild. It's such a good show.
It was wild, yes. I think that's the right word I would use for it, my friend. It was, and boy, was it fun.
Yeah, it absolutely was. So tonight's show is we're going to be going over a lot of the stuff in the weird news section today. And we're going to give some recaps of Ohio Bigfoot and some of the stuff we talked to with people about, and going to go over a few other topics as well. But this is going to be kind of a laid-back episode for everybody, and especially everybody who listened to last week's episode. Holy cow!
Oh man! Wow! Thanks, guys. That was epic.
It was the fastest downloaded episode that we've ever released. It just blew records away on literally day one. 8 hours in, it was setting at where we normally are after about a week of download time. So thank you guys for hanging out with us and listening to the show. That's just is huge to us.
Well, I'd say that was more the OVNIC. It was the luck of the OVNIC that did that.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. The OVNIC called all of his little OVNIC friends, and
pretty sure.
And they got in. They got in on.
Pretty sure that's what happened, man.
So let's get into the news, man. Let's
go over to the news and
hop into that.
Get her around there a little bit. See what made the news this week.
Well, first off, there was a big hoax.
Surprise!
Yes, surprise! Everybody, pretend to be shocked, right? There's a big hoax that started circulating around, and for you guys who are listening to this, you've probably already seen it by now. It showed up in at least being attributed, by the time of recording of this show, 6 different states. And it is a brown hyena, and people have attributed it to West Virginia, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and Ohio at this point. At least those ones have been able to track down. And the funny part about this just shows how well I know the people on the internet. When I saw the original post go up, I'm in a hunting group where this actually originated. And the gentleman was on safari in Africa and was super stoked about the harvest of a brown hyena that he had hunted for I think it was 8 days, and finally got this monster of a hyena. Huge citation level hyena, massive. So I knew as soon as I saw the pictures and how monstrous this thing looked and the way he was taking pictures with it, I was like, this is going to get used as a hoax, and we need to get out in front of it. So I started screenshotting everything. That way we had the original on hand, and anytime we see it pop up, we just drop those photos. And thanks to Travis from last week's episode, because he is the one that actually alerted us to the very first hoax post, and it was being attributed to being from Elkins, West Virginia. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just had this discussion last week about having to pull, more censorship and whatnot on our group because of this nonsense. So, it just proves it's not going away and that we have to stay on top of things. But it wasn't the only hoax.
It wasn't. Ron, lead up into that next one, man, because this one, so the hyena at least was
believable.
A hyena.
It was believable, right?
But this one, oh boy.
Yeah, the next hoax was even better in the fact that it was a fake mermaid. Now I've seen this before too prior, by the way. This showed up a couple of weeks ago, and I just skimmed through it. I was, I really honestly didn't think anyone would buy this. It showed up, I think it was on Instagram for the first time I'd seen it. Unfortunately, people did buy it, and they bought it. They bought it to the point to where local authorities. Well, what happened was this thing made it to TikTok, and if anything makes it to TikTok, it goes viral. That's just it,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So it supposedly showed a real mermaid. It was not a real mermaid. It was some kind of a fabrication or whatnot. I don't even know. It doesn't matter what it was. The point is that the police in the area had to actually go public and tell people, look, no, there's no mermaids here. This wasn't real. Please stop coming to our beach and looking for mermaids because, this is a real thing. So this is kind of dangerous in a way because it shows how far out of hand some of these hoaxes can actually go. We talk about these hoaxes as, well, they're bad because they can, cause issues with, detracting from real data, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, it could also cause, I don't know, millions of people to go trampling along an area and who knows what, destroy an ecosystem. I mean, this is a fact. These are the kind of things that can happen. So this was in South Africa, but it could have been anywhere. Honestly, it didn't matter. And you can imagine if this was along the coast. I mean, a million people trampling over the dunes and destroying turtle nests. I mean, think about it. This is all possible. So, yeah, this one blew my mind that it actually, that people actually believed it. First of all.
Well, the thing is too, and we talked about this in the last episode, actually not last episode before last, because that's when we were with Travis.
Yeah.
We talked about how outside of this country, there's a whole lot of lore that is actually taken far more serious than what Westerners take it.
That's true. Yeah.
And so this is one of those things that when it shows up, you're dealing with a country that has a whole lot of superstitions. Yeah. You're dealing with a country that has actual weird creatures that are unidentified, that do sometimes plague certain tribes or certain people. And you see this kind of a imagery show up all of a sudden on your phone, and well, there you go.
Must be proof. Must be true. It's on the internet.
Yeah. So here it goes. They start going and they start looking for the answers. They start looking for what this could be. And another one that's really similar to that is the big mysterious carved discs that have been found in Volgograd, Russia.
Yeah, those are interesting too, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, they don't look carved per se. I mean, I guess they could be, but I don't see like the tooling marks, especially in the up close photos. These look to be naturally formed somehow because there's pock marks everywhere. Like unless they were carved and just left out in the elements for
right. I mean, they could be
years.
Well, a couple of million years. I mean, these things could be like remnants of past civilization. Let's go there because why not?
Why not?
We have
It's not like we're not known for that.
and werewolves. Why not? Why would it be so strange that, these could be remnants of a past civilization when you stack it all up with the other nonsensical possibilities? So why not?
Well, the thing is, there's been over a dozen of them found.
Mhm.
Some of the images that are being shown, they're forced perspective.
As
Like
most good hoaxes and good,
as most good
yeah,
hoaxes are generally used for.
or not even
The
hoaxes, Joe. More like attention grabs, right?
Yeah, it's more of a clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait.
Definitely clickbait, but they do have some similarities to the disc saucers and whatnot. So, some of them range anywhere from like 24
So
inches.
you heard it here, folks. We have now found petrified alien spacecraft.
That's right.
That's probably going to be the headline eventually.
It probably will be fossilized UFOs.
Fossilized UFOs.
Proof
yeah.
that UFOs are organic material.
That's it. You know what?
Yeah.
Speaking of organic material and whatnot, and UFOs and space and all that fun stuff, there was another really cool news story that came out, and it wasn't hoaxed, and it wasn't just a bunch of BS. That was that all of the bases in DNA and RNA have now been found in meteorites. This was in Science News. It was amazing.
I saw that.
This was amazing. Yes.
That's how you terraform something.
That's how you terraform something. But it is also, I'm going to go there again. What if? Play the game with me. We have found evidence of life that we know it on a piece of rock that hit the planet. It came from outer space. Now, there are legends that say that we didn't come from here. We came from another planet. And there are legends that say that that planet was destroyed.
Hey, this lends credence to those legends too. You're right.
I'm just saying there's a possibility. All data on the table. But yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it, though? I mean, it really opens up the whole door to panspermia. It opened up the door to the ancient astronaut theory. It definitely opens up the door to the possibility, not even a possibility, but now we have a little bit of more proof, don't we, that life could definitely be out there. Man, phase 4 is definitely underway, Joe.
Yeah, I would say you're right, because they just said that they found life, essentially.
They did, but they didn't.
From Earth.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't. They didn't
say, hey, we found this and it's not from Earth. They just said that they found this on a meteorite.
Yeah. That's pretty distant. I think that falls within, don't you think? So
it should, yeah.
So do we get all the check marks now on our disclosure timeline?
Pretty close, but I think this one was more unofficial. This was more of a like sliding the paper under the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to come, I'm sure.
This is just let's drop it in the water and see how big of a ripple it makes.
Yeah, I think it is too. I believe you're right. And the other thing has to do with meteorites again, and that is the fact that China, of all people, of all nations, I should say, now wants to build a space defense system.
Yeah.
Not a Earth defense system, by the way. It's called a space defense system.
Yep. That makes them the second country.
Yeah. They say that they want to use this thing to protect Earth from collision course with asteroids, rogue meteorites, and whatnot. But I have a problem with this.
Yeah, because there's already like an international system that's built.
Well, there is the NASA DART program. There are a few that are building these systems to protect our planet from someone, or did I say someone? Oh, something from something that may be coming, which could be a rock. It could be a rock, right?
Yeah, it could just be a rock. But if rocks come here with DNA on them,
I'm okay. That's enough. I think we put enough stuff on the table. You guys make up your own mind on that. Let's move on. Let's see.
Another news of it coming up is the Wood Booger Jamboree, guys.
That's the big news.
We had several of you that came up to our booth at Ohio Bigfoot wanting to meet the guys from Wild and Weird Radio, and that was just amazing. And so
Scary.
we know that you guys are listening. We know that you're hearing this stuff, and we thank you. So make it out to Woodbooger Jamboree. It is going to be a blast.
It's a free event, by the way.
Yeah, free event.
So big craft fair, lots of fun, music people, all kinds of fun stuff going on out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. Okay, so other news, upcoming events. Oh yeah, you don't want to miss out on the Withville UFO Festival.
Yeah, the UFO Festival.
So
that's right.
So you guys definitely want to check that out. We're gonna be in Withville, Virginia. Ron and I will be speaking on UFOs and stuff, and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a really good time. Some friends of ours are putting on the event. The guys over at Mystic Novelty, who are just making some awesome stuff. They're hosting it. The original reporter that covered the Withville UFO incident is going to be the keynote speaker. Mm-hmm. You do not want to miss this one, guys. It's
all kinds of UFO stuff going on, Joe. I mean, by the time they hear this, we've already done one UFO thing.
Yeah,
that was with Dave Spinks up at his place, and you know the book came out.
Yes,
it's out now. I actually got to do some art revisions on it, and I got to put some new art in it. And not only that, I got to put some accounts in the book.
Yep.
Some accounts that the collective has been working on for about over a year now, right?
Yeah. And Russ Jones' book is also out. You can pick that up, The Appalachian Bigfoot. He's a good friend of ours. We'll talk about him here in a little bit, but I got to contribute to that book just a little bit. Gave him some photos, some the background on one of the cases that we did, and a whole list of forest edibles that support the idea.
What kind of edibles? What was that?
Forest edibles.
What's that? What's that? Is this a kind of new brand? I mean, I know people I can ask. I don't personally know, but
right. I mean, we could probably make it a new brand.
I don't know. But,
yeah, these are all wild edibles that are out there and are easily found if you know what you're looking for.
Now, wait, I want to, the news segment may go a little long here, but to those who don't understand what you're even talking about, you're saying edibles. You're talking about the food sources for some of these possible
forageable food that you can go out that could support a tribe of humans
or non-humans.
But the idea behind it was I wanted to find something that a human could subsist on.
Yeah.
And that was it. I found one or two areas that had all of those things that were on that list, and it makes sense.
So this is kind of like those Goldilocks zones when it comes to finding. Well, I almost said it, but. Okay, finding Bigfoot, right? I mean, because
you're not wrong.
You've got it's kind of like the perfect place because you do have to have food sources for such a large creature.
And if you guys are interested in those food sources, you definitely want to pick up Russ's book, and you can also come out to our workshops and stuff because we talk about all that stuff at our workshops, and those are something you can come to and hang out with us, learn how to conduct yourself in the field. It's good times.
Well, Woodbooger.
Yeah, Woodbooger Jamboree.
We're talking a little bit about that.
Talks at Woodbooger. So yeah. Learn some stuff about the forest. It'll be a good time.
I think so.
And let's see. I think that's it. Does that wrap us up?
That's the news, man. Yeah, let's wrap the news up, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the crazy stuff that happened this weekend.
Yeah. All right. So for us again, yesterday
we're
for
time
us
travelers.
Yeah, yesterday for us was the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Man, was this so fun. And it was the very first show of the big show of the year for us. Is the first big show. And it's so refreshing because for the last several years, the Ohio Bigfoot Festival has been what really sets the pace for the rest of our year. Like it's the way that show goes, we can predict how the rest of our year is going to go. From the business perspective. And it was encouraging to see people out in mass, in droves, excited to be back at conferences. See their faces, talk to them, give them hugs. I mean, it was just amazing being able to do that again.
It was pretty magical. Got to meet some really cool people. Never, ever do I get used to the fact that these total strangers come to our table and just tell us
Yeah.
these amazing stories that they have never
Yeah.
told anyone. And I mean, we saw people almost break down in front of us,
Yep.
telling these stories, and it is amazing to see that.
Well, one of the things that I think helps that is that we're really comfortable to be around. Folks come up to the booth, they see the artwork, they see the stuff. We're friendly faces for the most part. I'm not that friendly of a face. Sometimes I'm kind of grimacy,
Well, it just
but
depends on how much sleep you got or food.
I know. And but they'll start talking to us and they see that, we're not gonna tell them that we think they're crazy, and they'll start opening up and they'll share their story with us.
Yeah, I saw that multiple times, and
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing. Had several really good experiences there with people. We got to talk to a lot of people, including Dr. Jeff Meldrum.
Yeah, that was cool, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was very cool.
We had corresponded with Jeff through email when we started collecting tracks out off Bigfoot reports, and then that was when we first started actually beating foot in the field a lot. That was late 2019, early 2020, and conferences weren't happening. We weren't able to get stuff to Jeff. Jeff wasn't going anywhere else either because he's a university professor, and so he had his commitments he had to follow up with. So this is the first time since we started collecting these casts to actually see him in person and take our findings to put right in front of him.
Yeah, that was interesting, especially some of the reactions. Let's just say that I thought that was very positive. It doesn't give me much room to say that this could be something explainable on a couple of those. Maybe one could be explainable, but
Right.
there's a couple there that are highly questionable, and boy, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, especially Wineberry being one of them. So.
Oh yeah, he was really excited to see the Wineberry cast in person because he'd only seen it in photos.
Yeah.
And because of that, I've actually got to do some cleanup on the original Wineberry cast, very delicately.
There could be some actual data there that we may have overlooked just because we were excited about toes.
Yeah. And so I got to go back, clean it up, take a look at it under the microscope, and see what we have. And it was really cool also because we were able to get this second generation layered meadow cast.
That's a big foot.
Cool. That was collected by Roger Patterson in Laird Meadow, and we picked that one up from him. That was really cool. We also showed Dr. Meldrum the face.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Yes,
we showed him the face, and he seemed to be in agreement as well that it's not a panther. So it's the second anthropologist that is not a big fan of the panther idea. So we've got Kathy Strain and Jeff Meldrum in agreement that it's not a panther, but they don't know what it is. I mean, we don't know what it is. We've got ideas, and they're just as good as any, but it's not a panther. And it seems like some of the top people in the field are agreeing.
Yeah, it does seem like it's there's a little more to this thing. And what's really amazing about that is it's taken us almost 4 years now to come to some form of validation on that piece, and we still don't have full validation. So this is kind of like our own little Paracas skull. It's probably one of those kind of mysteries that's like people are going to go both ways on it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it is definitely something different. And definitely looking forward to going back in and examining it a little further soon.
Yep, that definitely needs more attention at this point, given that the eyes that have seen it now and what they think, as well as what we've been able to unearth about it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was your takeaways talking to Jeff there?
I don't know, man. I mean, I really thought that it was going to be an open and shut case on the one. I really did. I thought and he explained it very well. Like I understood everything he was saying perfectly, which surprised me that I actually have learned this much about Bigfoot anatomy. But I have. So what was really interesting about that was that he said, well, it could be, could not be. It wasn't one of those flat out, yeah, this is definitely a human. It was one of those, well, it might be human and it might not be. And I'm like, well, okay, so we're back to that.
So and that's where everybody's at with it. That's the funny part.
It's weird. It's
there
just
are features that shouldn't be there for it to be human, and the toe spread is really wide, but it could be human because it's in the length perspective. Like Jeff said, if this was 16 inches, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not. So we have that. And then the big surprise was the small track cast. And that one, that's something.
He really liked that small cast. So does Cliff.
Yeah, everybody's liked the small cast.
Everybody's liked the small cast because it looks like if you could scale it up and make it 16 inches, 18 inches, 21 inches, and it would look like a Bigfoot footprint, but it's only that big.
Well, that's the whole thing. And that's what he was saying to us is, with a Bigfoot footprint, it should not be some kind of morphology thing. They don't change shapes. They're just a miniature version of a bigger footprint, basically. Right. So, yeah, and when you look at it like that, I don't know.
But he also said, because that would make perfect sense. Our foot morphology doesn't change much from the time we're born to the time we die. There's just some structure changes, but those are due to bone development. But once you start walking, your foot pretty well looks that way forever. The thing is these smaller footprints, they're a missing data set.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not very many.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's not very many people that have cast these because they're being overlooked. Because that's kind of small. They're looking for the big 15, 16 inch footprints. They're not looking for these small 7, 8, 9 inch tracks. But when you're in an area where you have a whole lot of activity and you have a whole lot of food, there's a good chance that if these things really are out there, there's going to be offspring. There's going to be young ones. So we can't just ignore small footprints.
No, we can't. We absolutely can't. And there's a lot of things we can't ignore when it comes to that. So
yeah, and we talked a lot about that this weekend with some folks too.
We absolutely talked a lot about that.
And it was interesting to see how on the forefront of some of the research that is being conducted we are, because there's not very many people who are taking the instruments into the field that we're taking out.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting and kind of good to see that that is being at least addressed at this point.
Yeah. And some people, it's starting to catch on a little bit. There were some people who are taking, or who are going to start taking out more instrumentation. You've got Eric Altman. We got to hang out with him some this weekend. It was great seeing him. He takes a tri-field meter out when he goes out. Mm-hmm. And he's himself is going to get in to start taking more equipment into the field because of some of the results we've gathered.
Well, it hurts your brain. So, and, but that's the whole thing. It hurts your brain. And, because it's not something you want to believe. It's not something that you want to even consider. But when you see science starting to swing into these possibilities and, quantum possibilities and all that, you what do you do? I mean, you
You
got to
can't ignore it, and if you
Yeah.
ignore it, you're fudging data.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you
Or
ignore
you're just
it,
being
you're losing data
selective.
points.
Yeah, well, but that's the whole thing about data, man. That's the whole thing about opinions. Data, typically, science it's built upon preconceived notions. It's not really built upon these breakthroughs usually. Anyone who makes a breakthrough, it's questioned heavily. It's not accepted at times. No better place for that than looking into anthropology and archaeology. I mean, this is they change their views every 2-3 years. I mean,
New discoveries are made. Like right now, this kind of rewinds it back to the news. But on Friday, Jeff shared a news article showing that a female had been discovered that was the direct offspring of 2 different species of human. And she's the first one they found that was like that close. It was not containing, lineage of this interweaving of humanity, but was the first one that was found that was a 50-50 split.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that'll be addressed and changed very soon, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Doesn't fit the narrative.
So we got to see Russ Jones. It was great seeing Russ, catching up with him. He's going to be on the show soon, talking about all kinds of stuff. He's getting into some really interesting topics that he was talking to us there at the event with, and probably cover some of that on the show. Then we got to hang out. Well, I mean, all the vendors that we haven't got to hang out with since Wild and Weird Con. It was good seeing them. We got to hang out with Eric from Erie Eric and Carrie, Danner from Conjured Dust, and
Danner had some really cool designs, by the way.
Yeah, and it was his first year at OBC. It was good to see him get in there. It's a really hard show to get into.
Yeah, that was really awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You had Mothboy Matt who showed up. And
Matt was there. He almost took possession of the Forest Wizard, but somebody else got a hold of it.
It wasn't meant for him. He would have probably caused massive chaos throughout the multiverse if he would have unleashed the power of the Forest Wizard walking the staff. Yeah. So he chose wisely. He chose one of the glow-in-the-dark Mothman paintings. So he made a better choice, I think. A lot safer choice for the multiverse.
Yeah, much safer.
Yes.
And then who else did we get to spend some time with? Renee. Oh, it was great seeing Renee Holland again.
Renee was there.
Yep.
Yes, and she apparently gave an incredible talk, which we didn't get to see, but it sounded like she followed right up with us because
she came out and bragged.
That was good. That was awesome.
She's also hopefully going to be showing up with us here soon. Then we also got to go up and see up top there was the Cryptids of the Corn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a podcast or YouTube channel. I can't remember which, but they were pretty funny guys. That was pretty funny. Real fun little dynamic they got going on their show there. You guys should go check them out. They're pretty fun.
Yeah. I didn't get to go with you on that run. I was watching the table. It was extremely busy.
It was extremely busy. I got lost. That's how I wound up. That's the only time I made it to the 3rd floor was during that run, and I forgot.
It was extremely busy. It was good to see this many people out again. Like I said, definitely worth your time to go out. Next OBC is probably going to be just as crazy or crazier.
Oh, so, yeah. It's getting back to what it was in the olden day, prior to everything going crazy.
Oh yeah, because we had multiple levels that were just packed. It wasn't just one level packed; it was multiple levels packed this time. So it was very, very cool.
4 floors full of people.
It was very cool.
Yep, it was really cool to see.
So we hung out a little bit with Glenn.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that we're the big takeaway here. We got to be set back up with our buddy Glenn, he old vending friend of ours. He's also going to be a guest at Wild and Weird Con. He's going to be teaching one of the workshops. So he's the maker of the original Squatch Stick.
Yeah, I got to hear the full story about that. That was fascinating.
Yep.
So yeah,
he says that he doesn't see the Squatch Stick.
Yeah, it's right.
I told you it was in reach, baby.
Back there.
It's right here. So this is the Squatch Stick for those of you guys who have never heard of it, never seen one. This particular one I don't use out in the field. Really don't do a whole lot of tree knocks anyway. But this one I carry around, and I get it signed by people who I actually go out and do field research with. So that's, if you're ever out in the field with us, odds are your name's going to wind up on the bat.
Yeah, and there it goes out of camera view, so Glenn can gripe at you some more.
He can cry now.
Yeah.
I got my cup here for Glenn tears.
I got to say also, humongous shout out to our favorite restaurant in Ohio.
Yeah. 360 Burger, baby.
Burger. Everybody we say that to is like, what? They've heard of it, but what? We haven't eaten there yet. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Get over to 360 Burger and get a 360 burger. That's all you need to do. There's more stuff, but get that 360 burger. Trust me, you won't go wrong. And no, we don't get paid for this.
No,
or
it's just that food. Daggone good.
It's that good. Dude, the fries.
Yep. The fries feed an army.
We should have definitely only got one fry.
It's all farm to table kind of burger. You just can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Yep. So yeah, you definitely want to get over there. And then there's their sister restaurant, which was the first time we ever made it there. The Bear's Den. Oh my God. Going back. Glenn
made us go there. He's like, oh, we got to go to the Bear's Den. You've never been to that one. You got to go. It was kind of like us with 360 Burger. And he's like, you got to get out to the Bear's Den. Come on. So he went ahead. They tore down fast because he was basically sold out of Squatch Sticks by the time it was ready to leave. So he was out fast, went and got us a table, and then we hurried up, tore down, and beat foot over there to it. And let me just tell you, it was a bit of an adventure to get there.
It was an adventure to get there. I really thought we were going to go through the Twilight Zone for a bit.
We wound up, now this is not the only way to get there, but apparently this is like the way to get there. And I got on a dirt road. Very questionable. I started I went off the 2-lane. It put us onto the a single lane road that turned into a dirt road, that turned back into a single lane, turned back into a dirt road again. We're just like, where are we going? And then suddenly that dirt road opens right up onto the main road, and there's the restaurant.
Yeah. But we took the long way around. But either way, it doesn't matter how you get there. Just get there, because
it's good. It is a good restaurant. Cannot. And the prices are great. The food's all like.
Oh, I was shocked. I was very shocked at the prices, just because you expect to pay a lot more for that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I ate so much, I couldn't move on the way home.
Go check out the Bear's Den. Go check out 360 Burger. You will not go wrong with either of those.
100% agree. What else did we have that went on? That was going on there, because it was so much fun.
It was, and I know it sounds like when we're like, oh, it's so much fun, like we're exhausted.
No, dude.
It was Friday and Saturday of just nonstop blur.
Yeah. And next time, if all goes well, we are definitely staying.
Yeah, we're gonna stay there through Sunday next year.
Just because exhaustion.
Yeah, you're just so tired. And then there's more stuff that goes on Sundays. There's not vendor related. There's just people hanging out.
Yeah.
So it was such a blur. Just getting to catch up with friends we hadn't seen in years. It's been almost 2 years since we've seen some of these guys. longer with a few others. So it was just really nice getting to catch up with folks, you know? And
it was
and
weird.
just
It was almost
seeing,
like we just took off where we left off.
yeah,
That was weird. The
you
weird
walk
part
in the
about
room
it.
and suddenly people are grabbing you and yelling your name out, and
Yeah, it's fun. It was a lot of fun. So
yep.
so happy to have been there, and like you
It's
said, it
really
get you geared up for the rest of the year.
it's really got me excited for Mothman, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at work. I'm excited for our shows, but I'm so excited for Mothman, man.
I have a feeling it'll be insane.
Yeah.
Based on what I just saw, I think Mothman's going to be insane this year. And we sent more people to Mothman, by the way.
Yep, we did.
Like we always do. Because we are the paranormal ambassadors, or the ambassadors of the paranormal. We know this. Everyone knows this.
Yep. Sent some folks down to the Flatwoods Monster Museum.
Yep.
Saw a lot of Flatwoods Monster Museum shirts while we were there too.
Sure did. Sure did. I actually had people who knew what the Flatwoods Monster was.
Yeah.
It's working.
It's great.
Yes. As Giorgio used to say, it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
So I get it now.
And it's really nice, man. Like, it was just so refreshing to be around everybody again and talk to everybody, and it was really fun.
It was fun. Speaking of which, we had some fun. Me and Dave got to go out and do some things this week.
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah. I couldn't make it. I was it was one of Kelly's late nights at work, so I couldn't make it. So it was just you and Dave on this one.
You'll be there the next time. Because we told him you need to do a Bigfoot thing, and there's no one that we can think of that's more qualified. Me and Dave went down and we talked about the paranormal, ghosts, some of our investigations back with Ghost Watch, and some of the history, the forgotten history of the town, Charleston.
Yeah.
And how and why it may be what it is, like why this place may be so haunted or active or whatever. And we found some really good data from everything from Civil War to Native American desecrated lands to plantations with slaves, yes, in Charleston, West Virginia, Confederacy occupation, killing citizens in the streets, just you wouldn't believe it. And
all the way back to the Native American habitation here, the Adena and Hopewell, and
right down to the U.S. Geological Survey of the negative magnetism map, which was a pretty big hit. We published all this, by the way, over on the forum for the collective. So you can see all that data over there if you're very interested in it. And we are still following up with that, by the way. We've got a few more things. This kind of opened up a can of worms for us. So we're very interested in where this is leading at this point. And it was great. But what was really cool is we talked for about an hour, and really the discussion started after the talk stopped, because at the end we kind of started asking questions and getting questions back from the audience, and it just kept going and going and going. But it was really a good time. It was a great time.
Yeah, I was really excited that Dave got to get out on this one. It's awesome seeing him get out there now at the collective and speaking publicly with folks, and because he's such a valuable member in the collective and integral part of everything we do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dave is like a hidden member almost, if you want to think of him like that, because he does the music for the show.
Yeah.
He is a admin on the group.
Yep.
He does so much stuff behind the scenes, it's not even funny. And he's an old research partner, so he's been on quite a few investigations with me. And he's been on a few with us in general.
Yeah, he has. So, and it's just, it's so nice getting to go out in the field with somebody who is as seasoned as he is in the stuff. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to coach anybody. You just get to go and do it, and when it was the three of us, when we got to go out those few times, it's just, we get there, we show up, we do our thing. And it's great.
Yep. It was a good time. So he'll be joining us a few more times out in the field and whatnot. So that'll be really, really cool to do.
He's also part of the workshop team. So the next Bigfoot workshop we do, you'll get to see Dave there, and he's going to be at Wild and Weird Con with us this year again too. So he missed out last year, so he'll be there this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But well, let's see. One of the biggest takeaways from the weekend for me was that one military veteran.
I remember. Yeah.
And yeah, in his account that he had in Southern Ohio with he was right outside of the national forest, and he had a wild encounter, and watching the visceral reaction to what took place in a guy who is like, a hardcore guy, not, he was in the military, and like when you hear, oh yeah, I was in the military, and like you instantly, your brain goes to like the wild hardcore guy. This is him. And yeah, his account of what took place there right outside of Wayne is it was impressive. And then he started sharing some of his thoughts on what these creatures could be, and it was really interesting because when we told him our response back to what he said, he was relieved.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that he's told some people who did not have the same philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were the first people that he had told that we were like, yeah, man, you're probably onto something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So being able just to clear that up for him, I think it even helped him out a lot.
Oh yeah. Anytime that you can listen to someone, and me and Dave went over that at the St. Albans paranormal discussion that we were just talking about. Anytime that you can tell someone, I'm listening to your story. I'm listening to your story. I'm not judging your story. I'm listening to your story. And then, especially if it's something that you do agree with, you're going to get pretty animated about that. And if it is something that, like this guy, I mean, he made perfect sense to me. I think a lot of people, they can't deal with that. So they shut it down. They get negative.
Yep.
No, you can't. I mean, just listen to their stories. Even if you don't agree with their stories, listen to them. But on this one, I agreed with that story. I agree with his interpretation greatly.
Yeah, I gotta say I do too, because it harkened back to some of the other accounts that we've been sent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That weren't necessarily paranormal, but weren't normal either.
Yeah, outside the normal, I should say, right?
Right.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that. I mean, we heard so many people who came over to the table and told us this. It's almost like they were challenging us into the whole thing, because I guess they think you're at the OBC, that you're what does Jessi call them? Apers, right?
Apers, yeah. A bunch of apers.
So, yeah, you're just a bunch of apers. And they're like, wait, what? When you tell them, no, you're probably right. There is more going on than this simple flesh and blood explanation. And it just blows their minds at that point. And like you said, you can tell they've told other people, and they were just shot down immediately by it.
Yeah, and so it's nice being able to be the other voice in the room sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just to reach out and help people. You shouldn't be told, well, no, that's not possible, when you saw it happen.
I don't think we should say anything's not possible at this point. We've seen too much crazy stuff. I mean,
that is exactly right.
And I don't even know what reality is at this point. With some of this stuff, it's like it doesn't fit in.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And yet it is. So there you go. What are you going to do with that?
Just look back at the Ovnik. Again, we keep going back to that, but that is a recent hit on our weirdo meter that pegged it out. Like, it didn't just... No, it broke the needle and shot the needle across the room.
Makes you think and see things completely different is what it does. I mean, even if you're already open to this stuff. And believe me, I'm open to a lot of stuff. But, when you see something like that, it's like, well, I can understand these guys now. If I see a ball of light in the forest, I'm not going to freak that much out. But if some of these guys see it, it's probably going to be kind of like seeing, I don't know, a small ethereal, extra dimensional creature. I don't know. Just saying.
Could be.
Yeah.
Never know.
Never know.
Never know. Well, guys, I think we are about maxed out for this episode. We're both spent. Jessi's out on assignment.
Pretty much, yeah.
And remember, you can always find Jessi at Hellbent Holler on YouTube. On Instagram, she goes under Hellbent Jessi. I'm under Skinwalker Sculpts on Instagram. Ron is under Lanham Ron. You can always look us up on Facebook as well under our names. And also check out wildandweirdwv.com. We've got all kinds of stuff on the shop. It's going to be expanding some more here soon. Also, make sure that you go and join the forum, because that's where all the stuff that Facebook is saying we're not allowed to have, which is educational, because we're trying to tell people that this is a hoax, not perpetuate one. That's where all that stuff's getting cataloged at now, guys, because we can't keep it on the Facebook group. Otherwise, the ban bots show up and start taking stuff down. But
well, that's what they're commanded. That's their program.
That's just how they're programmed. We can't be too upset at them, right?
No, it's just what they're told to do, man.
And
so, yeah, go join the collective, right?
Yep, go join the collective. Become a member today.
What is the collective?
The collective is this shadowy figure with a cigarette standing at the opposite end of a dimly lit
cigarette smoking man. That's from X-Files.
oh, sorry.
Wrong.
That's not okay.
That's what they think the collective is. What is the collective?
The collective is an open source data pool. It is compiled of folks who just want to come in and join the conversation, as well as seasoned field researchers. And we're all out here sharing our data. You can also go there and self-promote. We have a whole section for that. And if you're hosting an event, go put it there. If you want to get out there and get your weird art seen by people, feel free, post it over there. We don't charge you anything. We know what it's like trying to get your stuff out. We know how the struggle is on Instagram right now. The algorithm on Instagram is an absolute trash fire. But if you come over to the collective, you can post your stuff and get it out in front of people over there. And they're going to be interested in your material, especially if you're making weird art. They're just going to love it.
Well, yeah, it's you don't have to target anyone. That's who's there. I mean, the only people coming to the collective are the people who want to come to the collective.
Exactly.
But it's also a research endeavor, right? I mean, that was the whole point of it.
The whole point was a research endeavor. Yeah. To link people across the world, making network of researchers who could easily communicate and corroborate and share data.
Yep, exactly. And that's very important, because if you do have a group, say in Charleston, and one say, in Ohio, and they happen to be actually communicating and sharing data, they may solve a mystery somewhere between the two states for all we know, right?
Or for example, a group in West Virginia working with a guy in Idaho, and working with a guy in Oregon.
Yes, Oregon, yes.
All the way across the country. What better way to communicate?
You're referring, of course, to the Orbs episode, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. If you haven't watched the Orbs episode, watch the Orbs episode, another one of our highest rating shows, and you do want to watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on the podcast, but definitely watch it on YouTube, because there's some crazy stuff on there.
Yeah, we actually posted the video that was sent in from that report. And we
got some reviews. Got some reviews. Got some people who are actually saying, that they think it's a bokeh or it's a reflection from IR and whatnot. But the people we've talked to assure us that
experts in photography, experts in the field, real experts, not just like make believe experts, like real experts this time have viewed this and they're like, no, that's not.
Well, they don't know what it is. I mean, they can guess like anyone else, but
they can say what it's not.
Don't know what it is. Yeah, they can say what it's not. But, the jury's still out on a lot of that stuff, but that's how we like it. So, yeah, if you got any strange reports, anything like that you want us to look into, send it. Send it. Reach out, contact us, and send it. And we'll see what we can do for you. And, maybe it won't be us. Maybe somebody else in your neck of the woods who is a member of the collective.
That dark, shadowy organization.
No, it's not a dark, shadowy organization, Joe.
No, yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate every download you guys do. Remember, if you're listening to the episode, to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us get out there. Leave a rating and review if you're listening on iTunes. If you're listening anywhere else, make sure you download as well as listen to the episode. If you're over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell too. That way, anytime that we put up content that's outside of the regular radio show that you're already expecting to drop every Friday night at 8 p.m., you will get alerted to it, because there is content that we're going to be releasing soon that will be outside of the regular scheduled Wild and Weird radio episodes. So again, hit that notification button. It's going to save you the wait time. You're going to know immediately. And until next time, remember, there's a guy standing in a dimly lit parking garage who works for a dark, shadowy organization with a lit cigarette in his hand. If he tries to give you information, it's not worth it. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
Well, it might be worth it.